Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News. Today I want to tell you about a corrupt sheriff in California, the U.S. Consulate driver who got caught smuggling guns into Mexico, and the win for Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act. But before we get started, I want to introduce you to the luxurious comfort and style inherent in every TNVC.com purchase. Discriminating connoisseurs like yourself deserve nothing but the finest in low-light viewing devices. Now you have a friend in the night vision business. So stop by and see what TNVC.com can do for you. If you like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff, take a look at our sponsor, TNVC.com, your source for quality night vision gear to make you the bump in the night. There's just something about discretionary permitting schemes that seem to virtually guarantee corruption. New York City police got caught years ago exchanging carry permits for literal bribes, and we reported back in December about how Apple's head of security was indicted for bribing the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office with 70 grand worth of iPads in order to get concealed weapon permits for his staff. And Under Sheriff Rick Sung and Captain James Jensen were also indicted in the same scandal. Now, the sheriff herself, Lori Smith, is up for a vote of no confidence in connection with that pay-for-play bribery scandal, as well as a laundry list of other examples of malfeasance, corruption, and incompetence. Anyone else with a shred of decency would likely have resigned in disgrace, but Sheriff Smith refuses to step down despite pleading the Fifth Amendment in criminal proceedings related to the bribery charges, even after senior leadership at a security firm pled guilty to donating 90 grand to Sheriff Smith's re-election fund in exchange for carry permits. A local NBC affiliate discovered donors to Smith's election campaign were 14 times more likely to be granted a carry permit than those who did not donate. The article didn't say where to send the bribe or how much it ought to be, so I called the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office to find out.
Sheriff's Operations Deputy Patrol.
Hi. I have a question. I'm not really sure what number I should call, but I'm trying to fill out my concealed carry permit application, and I just wanted to know, because it doesn't really say in here anywhere, where am I supposed to send the bribe to? As I understand it, if I donate to Sheriff Smith's re-election fund, I'm about 14 times more likely to be approved. So I just need to know where to send the check and how much to make it out for.
All right. Obviously, I can answer that. I can have you talk to the PAO who handles the CCW application.
So I can say without reservation that Smith is an absolute scumbag, but at least her staff has a sense of humor, and the real problem here is the discretion granted to her office in the first place. The United States Constitution guarantees equal protection and due process for all people to specifically prevent exactly this sort of thing. I don't believe permits for fundamental human rights ought to exist at all. But if they must exist, then they should be granted to everyone who meets clear, objective criteria, and there should be no room whatsoever for petty bureaucrats to pick and choose who they issue state permission slips to. Remember just a few days ago how I reported on the Mexican government suing U.S. gun makers? We'll throw a link up there for your convenience, but the short of it is they blame American gun makers for the guns that get used in crime in Mexico. Now, never mind the AFT smuggling guns to coke dealers or Mexican military and police losing whole-ass truckloads of machine guns. No, of course, it's the American manufacturer's fault. Well, let's add the U.S. Consulate to the list of organizations smuggling guns into Mexico. To be fair, this incident seems to be less a result of official consulate policy than it is for the AFT and the Mexican government, but a driver for the U.S. consulate in Nogales was recently convicted in U.S. District Court for smuggling 10 rifles and 5 pistols into Mexico. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Now, for those of you keeping score in our home game, that's 6 years less than the AFT wants to give you for putting a flip-to-side magnifier on your braced pistol. Missouri passed a Second Amendment Preservation Act a couple of months back, and boy has it got the feds' panties in a twist. The DOJ says it's not fair, and federal law supersedes state law, which is mostly correct, except for a couple of minor details with the supreme law of the land, the U.S. Constitution. See, there's this part where the Constitution says the feds don't actually have any powers that aren't explicitly delegated to them. So, if the Constitution didn't have anything at all to say about guns, it would still be unlawful for the federal government to restrict guns in any way. But the Constitution does have a little something to say about guns, doesn't it? Something that rhymes with Sal bought me the rims. The Justice Department also whines that 12 of the 53 state and local law enforcement officers have dropped out of the AFT task forces. It strikes me that's a funny way to go about saying that 41 of the 53 officers are still committed to violating the Constitution, even in blatant disregard for state law. The city of St. Louis County, and Jackson County each filed suit to get an injunction to prevent the new law from going into effect, but just a few days ago the injunction was denied, allowing the Second Amendment Preservation Act to go into full effect. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today. If you want to get email alerts for the best deals, projects we're working on, and the hottest stuff you missed on the ARFCOM forums, you'll also find a Linktree link down there in the doobly-doo 4-hour newsletter. Remember, our robot overlords in the tube of views know what we want better than we do for ourselves, so they helpfully unsubscribe viewers from channels like ARFCOM, which express wrongthink. You folks know that censorship makes puppies cry, and Captain America is very disappointed. So don't forget to check every now and then just to be sure you're still subscribed to us. While you're at it, be sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss a word of our gun rights propaganda. If you want to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com give you night vision with that cool, refreshing, never bitter taste that goes down smooth, they also have mounts, lights, and all sorts of other gear to make you the bump in the night. I love you.